You're looking at the Fender Jeff Beck Stratocaster. What is there left to say about Jeff Beck other than he is simply an amazing guitarist? Famous in his early years for playing a Les Paul, and before that a Telecaster. And then he started switching more to the Strat and eventually almost exclusively to the Strat, and that is the model that this is based on. It comes in two colours, Olympic White or Surf Green, and mine is in the Surf Green colour, and I think it's a fantastic looking instrument. And this one's got the Fender special design dual coil ceramic noiseless pickups, which is a hell of a mouthful. Beck doesn't use these particular type of pickups, but the design is similar-ish. It'll get you in the ballpark. But as you know, tone is in the fingers, and if you've got Jeff Beck's fingers, then his engineers have often said that he could play through anything and still sound like him. So I wouldn't worry too much about any slight differences in pickups, but it's important that they are noiseless pickups, because obviously single coil pickups, when you're cranking the volume, then it can make a difference. It didn't worry Jimi Hendrix, but in this instance noiseless pickups are really good to have. Comes with a rosewood fretboard, feels really nice. The neck profile is a comfortable soft C profile, and it comes with a contoured heel, which basically means when you're going up high, it just feels good all the way up to the top of the neck. It's got the famous LSR roller nut system. Now, if you've ever played a Floyd Rose, you'll know that if you lock down the neck at the nut, it's got a certain feeling to it, and this LSR roller nut has equally got its own feeling, and I was quite surprised how well it works. It certainly doesn't seem to pinch the strings or have any major problems. It's got a 2-point synchronized tremolo bridge. So in other words, at the other end of the guitar, where you've got the 2 points of friction, which is the nut and the tremolo, having the 2 points synchronized, on some guitars it can be a problem, but I think that the LSR roller nut, I think that really does help with the 2-point system. So, in other words, you can waggle the tremolo arm, and the string friction at the nut, you don't tend to have it with the roller nut. It's surprisingly stable, so you can whammy away to your heart's content, and it's really good. If you've ever played a Floyd Rose system, you know that when it's locked down at the nut, you can whammy away. You're never going to go out of tune. It's got stainless steel saddles on the bridge area. So it's nice, and you've got enough mass anyway. I think that's the main thing with bridges and tremolo arms. It's nice to have mass. Now, Fender say that it's sculpted to impart a vintage style playing feel from Fender's first golden age in the 50s and 60s. The finish on the guitar, it's really nice finish. I did have one or two issues with some other Fender guitars with the finish on them, but this one looks pretty good. I mean, I've been quite careful with it, so I haven't donked it about or anything, so I don't really know how tough that finish really is, but it looks nice. They say that it's strong and durable, that finish, so I will believe Fender until the point when it becomes apparent that, you know, it's not exactly true. The fingerboard radius is a 9.5 inch radius, which they say is 241 millimeters. The scale length is 25.5 inches, which is the usual 648 millimeters. It's got 22 frets, and the frets themselves are medium jumbo. Now the nut width is 1.6875 inches, which is 42.86 millimeters. Now I'm quite sensitive to the nut size. I like a wider nut, but I have to say that this feels wide enough, and I'm a classical player, and I do like the chunky feeling necks, and it does feel kind of chunky. The position inlays are ivory dot, and the truss rod they say is biflex, which I take to mean that it's dual action. Now onto the controls. You've got master volume, tone 1, which is for the neck pickup, tone 2, which usually is for the middle pickup, but in this instance it's for the bridge and the middle pickup combined. Really nice to get that rear single coil sound with a rolled off tone. If you've never done it before, it's really lovely on a Strat, and this Beck Strat does it really, really well. The switch is a 5-position, the usual bridge and middle and neck, and neck. So the configuration is, you know, pretty much standard Strat. The tuning machines are deluxe, staggered, and they say they're cast, sealed, locking. They're really good, the tuning pegs on this. I really like them. They're nice quality. The pickguard's 3-ply parchment, and the control knobs are aged white plastic. The switch tip, same thing, aged white. And the neck plates are 4-bolt vintage style. It's set up to play 9 to 42 gauge strings. Comes with a vintage case, a strap and a cable, and, you know, your usual documentation. So that was the Jeff Beck Stratocaster. Overall, a really nice guitar, and a really nice take on the Strat. So if you're a Strat player and you're also a whammy player, the Jeff Beck Strat is a really, really good instrument, and the pickups do sound good. The weight and the feel and the balance of everything. The weight and the balance is good on it, so it's nice to play. It's not too heavy. And overall, I'd say it's a really good quality instrument, and I think well worth the price. So if you are in the market for one, I don't think you can go too far wrong with one of these, if you think you can get the sounds out of it. And for me, it does work well with pedals, and the few amps that I've used with it sound good. So anyway, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.